Hey guys, Jason here with a word to the wise. So, it's kind of amazing how this whole thing has worked. I've been looking at this Genesis for a couple of days now, a couple of weeks, and it kind of dawned on me I should try to show this. And this is something I kind of just threw together last night, and I tried to do the best handwriting I could, so please bear with me. And I tried to sum it up the best I could to kind of show the points that are being spoken of here. So, just to make it an easy concept to take in, let's say this. So let's go to day 7 and bowl 7 right off the bat, the end from the beginning. Day 7 is he completed his works and rest from his works, right? Completion and rest. Bowl 7. The angel says in the beginning, as he pours it out into the air, it is done. And what is it? It is completion and wrath. Or you could say completion and then destruction of that, what he completed in day 7 of Genesis 1. So, interesting that these have the same points. Let's go to another here. Day 4. Lights for the earth, the sun and the moon to separate the day from the night, and the light to separate the light from the darkness. So let's go to bowl 4. Sun scorching men blasphemed and are unrepentant. Now they're unrepentant, so they are still in darkness. They refuse to go to the light. They curse God who created these things, who made this happen unto them. Look at, let's look at another one here. Day 5. Day 5, he multiplied the animals on the land, the life in the sky and in the water. That's what it was. Not the land. That's day 6. So look again. The increase. So what happens in bowl 5? Distress of the kingdom. And more than likely is going to be the decaying of the system. People are going to start to realize the system is evil. It is failing them. They're being thrown into lies, which is causing them to keep walking down this wrong, unrepentant path, believing in, say, global warming and climate change and pollutions and all this that we don't have enough to sustain. Why? Because the people that are the elites that are running the show are the ones that are perpetrating this so they can maintain their power. But even I think it says in the Bible that they will come to realize the systems are failing even them. And that the beast isn't with them, but he is against them. He is lying even to them. They'll come to the realization as the kingdom falls into what? Darkness. Let's go to another one I like here. Day 1, let there be light. And he separated the light from darkness. Okay, well, doesn't the light get created in day 4, the sun and the moon? So what is happening? In day 1, it's speaking about he separated the light from the dark. But without any sun and moon, how does that work? Well, look at bowl 1. Evil soars for those who are marked. Now, let there be light. Those who follow the light, who follow the truth, who follow Jesus. Jesus is the light. He is the truth. He is the separation from the darkness that is the world, right? There again. I'm not saying that is exactly what is being represented here, but he is the Alpha and the Omega. He gives us the end from the beginning. And what is the first chapter of the Bible? The first story is the beginning, the creation. He shows how it is created and how it is destroyed. From the beginning, he let us know. Day 2, separating the waters from above and the waters below, making a sky. Bowl 2, the seas are like the blood of a dead man. The life in the seas die. Now, interesting enough, Jesus came by what? He came by water and blood. Not just by water, but of blood. Not just of blood, but of water. He came with the life. And also look at the what is, speaking of the separating the waters from above and the waters below. So you have the waters above are in the heavens, right? Above the firmament. So if he's separating the waters in the seas are like blood of a dead man, and every living soul, I looked that up to make sure, every living soul in the sea dies. So is that, you look at that again. So the waters, there are the ones who are the water of above, who are the living water. Jesus brought the living water to the woman at the well. He said, if you drink of the living water, he didn't bring it to her, but if you drink of this living water that I offer, you'll never thirst again. But the people that have the earthly water out of the well, you will thirst again. So there again, the sea is like the blood of a dead man. Life in the sea dies, and it separates with death the seeds. You have the wheat and the tares. You have the waters above and the waters below. Again, this is a very conceptual thing that I'm trying to lay out here. So here again, day 3. Dry land appears and vegetation brings forth seeds. Now, bowl 3. The blood in the rivers and the springs. Now, what are springs? Springs are the life of the water. That is where the water comes from, is from the springs. I've gone into many springs. I used to live in Florida, and I've seen springs you could drive a car into, and the water shoots up out of the ground out of these springs. You can literally stand in front of them and just gulp in water. That's probably the only safe place you can drink water out of the ground. But I'm sure they'll pollute that someday in the future. Or, as in this climate change, they're trying to get everybody on board because they know that these things are very possibly going to be taken away from the world, to get man to come to God, to understand that he giveth and he taketh away. So, life of the waters, the judgments on the earth. So what happens in that bowl 3 is it speaks about they spilled the blood of the saints and the prophets, and he has given them blood to drink. So judgments on the waters, separating the waters again. And lastly, I just want to point this out in day 6. If you look at day 6 in Genesis, it is the longest of the days with the verses. The verses, I think there's like 5 or 7, something like that. It's the longest version. And then the same thing when you go to the bowl 6. It is the longest of the bowls being poured out, other than if you're looking at day 7 when it speaks. Well, I think even bowl 7 is very short, because then it jumps into Adam and Eve. And let's see, in bowl 6 it says, I wrote king, but it's kings. It says the kings of the rising sun. You look that up in the Greek, and it doesn't say the kings of the east, but the kings of the rising sun, which also kind of made me think of that movie with Wesley Snipes and Sean Connery, which is the Rising Sun. It's kind of all about how the elites are running some sort of a shady show. I can't remember exactly what it's about, but he brings forth the animals of the land, and the demon spirits that come out of the dragon, the false prophet, and the beast are spirits like frogs, and they are of their seed. And he preps those kings. The kings, I think it says that the spirits prep those kings to lead the world for the battle of that great day. So they are misleading the world, saying that we need to, come against this, whatever is happening in that time. I don't know. But it says there in red, in the red letters, it says, by Jesus, I come as a thief. So it's speaking of a thing like the rapture, a situation. And that's what I'm guessing, is that will be the last the last day of the church on the earth. He will gather his church, his bride, not churches. I know there's a lot of different church, things and theologies and all that. I'm saying that Jesus will gather his bride and take them before Bowl 7. And he gathers them into a place called Armageddon, which I've also wondered, and I've tried to look into a little bit about what is the meaning of Armageddon. I think there's a meaning out there that we don't fully understand, just like wrath. Yes, the wrath is a time of judgment. But if you look at Revelation 15, it speaks that John was happy or glorified, that the bowls are coming. I can't remember exactly how he words it, but he's happy that the bowls are coming and to be poured out on the earth. But then, so that his church is taken away. I don't want to get too far off point here. I'm doing pretty well. But there again, the rapture happens and his bride is taken away. And then what does it say in day 6? He makes man in his image. So 6 and 6. So he makes man in his image. So is that like the rapture where we have glorified bodies? So that's why I made those other videos in the past. Everything I make, I try to have it lead one thing to another, to another, to another. I can't read all these things out because I am a horrible reader. It sounds like a kindergartner trying to read, Jack and Jill. It's very awful. I don't want to put you guys through that. But here he makes man to rule over the animals of the earth, the beast of the earth. And what does Jesus say? I will put every enemy under your feet. And what is happening in Revelation, say 6, when it talks about the fourth horseman? He brings the beast to, the beast of the field as part of the wrath on the earth, which is like the killing and the plagues and all that, and the beast of the earth to, I guess, kill man, I think is what it says. So there again, you can see when you look at these, there's something more metaphorical, I believe, that the days of Genesis were speaking of in the beginning. The first chapter, the very beginning of the Bible is speaking of that. Look at John 1. He speaks about, that light was with God when he created all things. And the light was the Word, and the Word was with God. So Jesus was there, and Jesus came to earth to die for the sins. So he was there from the beginning. He's the Lord of Lords, the Kings of Kings, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. So I'll cut this off. This is a pretty lengthy one, but I feel that I've gotten this out in a very good way. I'm very happy with what I've said here. So you can look these things over, and there's a lot you can kind of glean from that, because you can see in Revelation, it talks about every evil bird, and, they'll feast on the flesh of captains. So maybe there are some good birds and there's bad birds, but those animals, I believe, again, look at the War of the Lambs in Enoch. I think there's a lot more going on here than just a bad day at the farm, being spoken of in Enoch. You can see how almost the entire Bible is spoken of in that scenario. All right, I'll cut this short. God bless, guys. Please, questions, comments, anything you'd like to add or question or clarify. If I missed something, mixed something up, leave it in the comments. I'll happily answer anyone and anything. Word to the wise, guys. God bless.